Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks for coming by today. Just a book tag for you today. Catching up on tags still. So this one is going to be the Jim Henson Book Tag. This was created by Gareth over at Books, Songs, and Other Magic, who just absolutely loves Jim Henson. And yeah, don't we all? Yes, we do. Grew up watching so much Jim Henson stuff. So let's jump right into these questions. Number one is Sesame Street, a book that taught you something. And I actually decided to pick Columbine by Dave Cullen here. I read this a couple years ago now, maybe, and it's really good. Dave Cullen was one of the journalists at the time. I was like, what's that word? Journalist at the time of the events of Columbine that was reporting at the time and that kind of thing. And the story goes into, what happened on the day, goes a bit into the two shooters, what they were doing beforehand, the people that got shot and being murdered, on the day, and then a lot of it will, what happened afterwards, sort of, what was going on afterwards, and even not even just immediately afterwards, but like a year later, 5 years later, as still things were, being found out and things like that. And I definitely learned a lot. There were just some things that were untruths, of course, that came, that were being said right after the events that, we later found were untrue, that I never heard about. And so I definitely learned a lot. And I think I just really appreciated this book in general. It was really well done. And even, of course it focuses on a horrendous situation, but, for me, as I, of course, absolutely remember, when this happened, and it almost felt like a sort of a turning point, in the U.S., and, it was really well done. I still need to read. He has another book about Parkland, actually, I still want to get to, but I haven't quite yet, but yeah. If you're interested at all in it, I think it's absolutely worth your time. Okay, number two is Muppet Show, a book that has an unpredictability in its story. I went with Invisible Monsters here by Chuck Palahniuk. This is one of my favorite all-time books. This is my absolute favorite Palahniuk book. I love this book. It is... I don't know how to even talk about this book, but our main character is this sort of nameless woman who at the very beginning of the book, we know she's like a fashion model, but then she has this horrendous accident in which she loses the bottom part of her mouth. So she has no bottom jaw, and she walks around with a veil around her. And then she meets this other character named Brandy Alexander, who's, I don't know, basically a sort of a transgendered woman, and they go on these little adventures with, getting drugs and stuff. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but we learn there's so many like little twists and turns in this story that still just kind of blow my mind. And I love this book. I love this book. I love it so much. But it's definitely pretty unpredictable. I've got books falling. Okay, number 3 is the Muppet Show Newscaster. What book tackled a current political or social issue well? I've got a couple things here that I want to mention. One is The Empire of Pain, The Secret History of the Sackler Dynasty by Patrick Radden Keefe. If you're at all interested in learning a little bit more about the sort of beginnings of the opioid crisis here in America and how the Sackler family had a pretty big role to play in that, because they are the creators created, but they funded and produced and distributed OxyContin, which led to, of course, a huge issue here, particularly in sort of small town, rural areas of the United States, and which we still see the effects of today, though the drugs maybe have changed a bit. I think the roots were, sort of sown by OxyContin. And yeah, this book will make you mad. This book will absolutely enrage you. But it's just really interesting also. I also wanted to mention The New Jim Crow, Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. This is by Michelle Alexander. This is an absolutely wonderful book about the sort of school to prison pipeline, how, you know, black folks are incarcerated at such a, you know, exorbitant, more, that's what I'm saying. I'm losing words here, I'm so sorry. At a, you know, higher rate for more, you know, less severe crimes than, you know, non-black folks. And yeah, it's nothing that will kind of make you a little angry, but well worth a read. Absolutely well worth a read. All right, number 4, The Dark Crystal. I love The Dark Crystal. I love that so much. Okay, a book that is an excellent example of world building. For me, I absolutely had to pick Books Falling Everywhere. The Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin. I love this series. I love this series so much. And let's hold it up. Let's hold it the right way. Here we go. All right. The book one is 5th season. This is a sort of fantasy world that also has some apocalyptic nature, because in this world they have what they call 5th seasons, which are these sort of world-ending apocalyptic, you know, natural occurring events, and they happen, you know, every so often throughout the history of here. There are magic users in here that are called origins that can somewhat control, you know, nature in a way, and earth. It's like an earth magic, and we're following a woman as she's looking for her daughter. Basically, I mean, that's the very gist of the story. There's a lot that goes on in here. I love it. I love the characters, but the world that she creates in here is just so interesting, and I love it so much. Okay. Excuse me. Number 6 is Labyrinth, a book with great friendship in the story. And I thought I'd go with It by Stephen King. Though this is a horror novel that features a really bad monster in here, the friendship in here is just so lovely, isn't it? And it's a group of friends, you know, of course, and they're, you know, young kids. And, you know, it's a dual story. You know about it. You know about the story. There's a dual timeline. We've got as they're younger, and then they come back as an adult to like fight the monster again. You know the story of this. But really, gosh, it really is a wonderful story of friendship. And, you know, the kind of, you know, what they call themselves, the losers club, right? So they're the outsiders, and they get picked on and bullied sometimes, but they always have each other's backs. And yeah, it's just a really, really wonderful friendship. It's one of the reasons I love this book, actually, is this connection between all these characters. And yeah, I love this. All right. Number 6 is The Storyteller, a book with some great storytelling. And I went with The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, because, gosh, books are just everywhere. Because I love this book. I love this book, and I love this story. And yeah, it's just a really good story. And it's a young, you know, at the very beginning, we've got a man who's come back home, which is one of my favorite tropes when someone comes back home. But he's here for a funeral, and he kind of decides to go to see, where his old house used to be, and he starts having these memories of when he was a young boy, and this girl and her family that lived nearby, and the events that occurred that year. It gets a bit dark. It's really kind of scary, but it's a wonderful story. I love this book so much. All right. Number 7 is Farscape, a book that is wild, weird, and unpredictable. And I basically went with the entire Xenogenesis series, or Lilith's Brood series by Octavia Butler. This is a wild and weird and unpredictable story. This is the bind-up of all 3 books, but man, this is really good. The first book is Dawn, in which we meet a woman named Lilith, who has basically kind of been rescued by this alien race, and she is sort of woken up on their ship, and we find that the Earth has basically just been destroyed because, humans, and But this alien race are they the Owen Collie. They are they're kind of different. They look very alien, right? And they have this sort of proposition for Lilith and what that means for the future of humanity, the future of Earth, and it's so mind blowing to me. It's definitely kind of wild and weird at times. Definitely a bit dark at times. Also, I love this. I love this series. It's so good. It's so good. Yes. All right. Number 8 is Dinosaurs, a book with a great monster in it. The Terror by Dan Simmons. Another great book. Based on a true story. We got these two ships that are trying to navigate across the Arctic Circle. They get trapped in the ice and they're stuck there for years. And but there's also something out there on the ice. Something is kind of stalking and taking them out. And oh gosh, I love this book so much. You feel the cold, you feel the frostbite, you can feel your stomach rumbling from hunger because you haven't eaten in days, and then you feel the fear of this creature too. Man, it's such a good book. All right, number 9, Neverending Story, a book that is too long. Bro, it did not need to be this long. 11/22/63, Stephen King. Too long. All right, Fraggle Rock, number 10, is a book that has little creatures in it. And I had a hard time thinking of something here, but I ended up, I forgot to pull the book. Oh, it's right here. Is Palmetto by Anya Alborn. It's got a bunch of roaches in it. Yeah. This is a really good book. Kind of haunted house type of book. Yeah, it's really good. It's a short little book. This family, they move into this house that seems too good to be true. The classic thing. And they got a new baby on the way. But yeah, it's good. I don't say too much more because it's good, but bugs. All right, that's it. That was the tag. That was a fun one. So thanks, Gareth, for creating that one. I think a lot of people have done this one. I don't really know who to tag. If it sounds like something you would like to do, tag you're it. It's a fun one. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching. I always appreciate your time. Until next time.